So this is part two of my recap series, if you will, on me explaining how I got back into riding, starting track days, and leading up to where we are today. If you hadn't seen part one, I'll put a link to it down in the description so you can get caught up. So the day comes, November 31st, 2019. We're at Barber. It's my very first track day. Am I nervous? Of course I am. There's a lot going on and I have no clue what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to go, or when I'm even supposed to be there. But I have Jason with me, my new friend that got me to come in the first place, and he's explaining how everything works. So, in a nutshell, the way track days work is they split the riders into three groups according to experience and ability: novice, intermediate, and advanced. In the novice group, you get loads of instruction, and things are at a slower pace. You have the opportunity to learn the layout of the track, and you slowly build up speed as you get comfortable. There are coaches that offer advice and make sure everyone is safe and learning. I'm having a blast, and I'm picking up the pace nicely. Things are going great. I've ridden a couple sessions and I can already tell I'm hooked. I start pushing the bike a little harder, and that's when the issues start. Halfway through a 20-minute session, and I'm losing power. My instruments are dying, and the bike is trying to cut off. I get back in the pit, and it won't crank. I charge it, boom, cranks up. Halfway through the next session, same thing. What is going on? I'm frustrated. We try to troubleshoot but can't really find out what's killing the battery, so we park it. We can dig into it later when the day is done. All is good anyway because Jason has an extra bike and offers to let me ride it. It's a Gixxer 1000, my bread and butter. The same type of bike I had spent all this time originally preparing this weekend on. A bike I was already comfortable on, so I strike out, and man, does this bike feel like home. I lose myself in just how comfortable I feel. I had already been passing guys on the R6, and you better believe I had the power to pass them now on this bike. So I get after it, going faster than I've been going all day. I get behind a group of slower riders, and once on the main straight, I made up my mind that I'm getting around them. All of them. That was a mistake. I'm at the end of the straight, and I'm going fast. Too fast. I'm on the brakes, but I can't slow down. I don't even try to turn. I keep it straight in hopes I can just run off the track and get it slowed down. Off into the grass, through the gravel trap, back into the grass. I'm slowing down, but not fast enough. Next up past this latch, past a patch of grass, is a wall. I almost got it stopped before the wall. Almost. I hit the wall. I get up and I'm completely fine. It was a very low speed impact. I pick up the bike, looks fine. Crank it up, it's good to go. I exit the track, and the man I just wrecked starts wearing off, and the guilt starts setting in. How could I be so disrespectful? This wasn't even my bike, and I was riding the way I was. I felt terrible. Back in the pit, me and Jason are looking everything over. Some dirt, a couple scuffs, and maybe a fresh crack. No major damage to the bike, but boy, do I feel like a bum. My weekend is over, and I'm not even through the first day, on top of being a bad friend. Take the time then to really start troubleshooting my bike. If I don't get it fixed by the next day, I won't be riding at all. After some trial and error and a good bit of Google, I found the problem: a bad connection in the wiring. I get the connection cleaned up and the bike is back running. I even get to ride the last session and the R6 ran like a top. Yes, thank you. After the last session and the riding is over for the day, we settle down and try to relax. I can't decide if I had fun or not. With all that had happened, it was honestly a pretty stressful day. That being said, I knew this was just the beginning and I was into this new sport. Even with all that had happened, I had gotten pretty comfortable and my confidence, believe it or not, was up. Day two arrives. The R6 cranks up and seems to be running great. I'm chomping at the bit. The day starts and everything is smooth. I'm getting faster and more confident as the day goes on. And let me tell you something that I'll likely continue to laugh about for years to come. I've been riding on the street with Jason for a little while, and I thought I was leaning a good bit in the turns. I remember thinking to myself, man, I have to be this close to touching my knee down. Well, I laugh every time I think of that moment. I wasn't even close. I found out that second day just how far you have to lean a bike for your knee to touch the ground. I couldn't believe it. I drug my knee on both sides that day. My second track day ever. To say I was excited is a complete understatement. I was giddy. My confidence was at an all time high at this point. I feel like I'm flying out there. The last session of the second day comes, and it's one of my best sessions yet. At the end of it, I exit the track and pull to my spot in the paddock. A coach pulls up behind me wanting to talk. He tells me that I'm riding great. I thank him and explain this was my first weekend on the track. I could see the surprise in his eyes. Boy, that boosted my ego. He then goes on to tell me that he was wanting to bump me to intermediate, but I had passed the guy on the right coming out of the left hand turn. We talked a little more and he went on his way. Wow, I almost got bumped to intermediate. Man, I left the track that weekend feeling like $1,000,000. If I wasn't sucked in before, you better believe I was now.